This video is not for beginners. It's only for advanced bizop coaches looking to get millions of dollars cash collected with their challenge funnels with very healthy metrics so they have high profit margins. And so if you're teaching trading, e-com, real estate, TikTok shop, crypto, or any other bizop offer, this video is for you. Now, if you're currently facing any of these problems inside your coaching business, then if you watch to the very end of this video, I'll show you how to fix these problems with challenge funnels. So number one, you have big cash spikes on a given month, then you have inconsistent months afterwards because, as you should know, you shouldn't do a challenge funnel more than once every quarter. And so you need a process in between, typically webinars, to make sure you're consistently hitting those $1 million months every month. Second is if you cannot seem to scale to the next level, because unit economically, you just cannot with your business. The third, if your profit margins are less than 30%, you want it being in between 60 to 80% because an info business is one of those only types of markets where you can have insanely high profit margins. The fourth, if your sales cycles are too long and the payback period takes you months. As you know, with a challenge funnel, you have to upfront lots of cash that you're burning on ads, and you might be not even breaking even when you go into the challenge. And so if it takes you a long time to recover that cash, then it's a very inefficient funnel to run. And the next thing, if you have any funnel problems, so if you have funnel fatigue, you have a low sharp rate, low retention rate on days 1 to days 3, and low close rates as a result. So let's first clear some common pitfalls that you might actually be doing right now with your challenge funnels. Now, the first point, challenge funnels are preferably only 3 days long, not 5, 7, 10, 14 days, obviously depending on the market as well. The reason being is because the longer the days, then the more points of attrition that you have. We're going to go into this in a second. The goal of a challenge funnel is not to teach absolutely everything to your audience. So let's say you're a trading coach. You don't spend those 3 days giving them everything about trading. Your whole goal, your aim is to basically maximize conversion rate on the back end ascension. So giving enough information, and then again, we'll go through the structure and handling objections, making the audience see that it's possible for them to actually become successful with trading, show your case studies, and you basically close off with a Q&A and you have your pitch in the middle. The next thing, challenge funnels are very different to webinar funnels. I personally, when scaling clients to 7-figure months, I wouldn't just do one or the other. I would do webinars twice a week and then challenge funnels once every quarter. And that's how you hit the $1 million months. And so don't treat them exactly the same, basically. The next thing is whatever front-end cash that you burn in ads to get leads showing up to day 1 of the challenge funnel, you need to recover this as soon as possible, which is why you need to be running these ads 72 hours before day 1, so that by day 2, when you start pitching, so that's now 5 days in, after you spent ads, you're booking calls in and you're recovering that cash, okay? And the next thing is the price of the ticket to the challenge funnel should not be anything less than $40 because you want to attract people who are actually going to show up on day 1. And we're going to go into why low ticket like $7, $10, $15 won't do the job. The next, don't use one generic sales page for all of your target avatars. So when you're teaching someone e-commerce on how to make money from it, you're going to have different target avatars. So you need to have a different messaging for each of them. And again, we'll go into that. And if your peak months come only when you launch these challenge funnels every quarter, then you're basically effed. And that's why you need these webinars in between as well. And the reason I say webinars and challenge funnels is because people have gone away from VSLs in 2026, right? By doing one-to-many, instead of doing one-to-one calls, again, in the challenge funnel webinar, doing one-to-many sales calls, you can have a much bigger impact a lot quicker. And you can automate these processes as well, which isn't the point of today's video. So going into a 3-day challenge, specifically the points of attrition. Now, what attrition means is a point where a prospect should have moved forward, but they've fallen behind. So the first part is the pre-ticket purchase. So you're running ads, people click the ad, people click on the link on the ad to get to the landing page to sign up. So before you even present the ticket price of say $47, you're losing people. A set number of people who click the ad, will not click the link, will not then buy the upsell. So there's people dropping off here. Now, the key one is day 1 sharp rate. So let's say all of these people pressed that button, they paid $47, and they said, look, I'm going to come and attend the challenge funnel. Now, not everyone's going to show up on day 1. Not everyone who shows up on day 1 is going to stay to the very end of the 2-3 hour process of day 1. You won't retain them. And those who basically stay to the end of day 1 not all of them are going to show up for day 2. And as you can imagine, it trickles down. Not everyone's going to stay till the end of day 2. And everyone who stayed to the end of day 2 won't show up for day 3, and so on and so forth. And at the end of day 3, once they've heard the pitch and everything, not everyone in the call is going to book in a call, and those who do are not going to show up. And that's why the more days you have, 5, 7, 9, 10, 14 days, the more points of attrition you have. So for every day, there are 2 points of attrition, the show and the retention. So I have a day 4, a day 5, up to day 14. You can imagine you're introducing another new bottleneck every single time by introducing a new day, which is why 3 days is the fair point. It's what allows you to present the amount of content necessary in order to get them to book in a call, basically. So keep that in mind. Now, why should your front-end ticket not be anything less than $40? Because the whole thing you want to maximize is the show-up rate on day 1. Now, on a challenge funnel, you should aim for at least a 70% show-up rate on day 1. And so if throughout the days, by the time you get to the pitch and the end of the pitch on day 3, if your show rates on the days and retention rates decrease day on day before the pitch, that means in the end, when you actually do the pitch, you're pitching to fewer people because they kept dropping off, which means you book fewer calls in and you cash collect less than you could have. So you need to maximize show and retention rates. And so it starts with day 1, and it matters more than you think. And I'm going to ask you this question: who's more likely to show up? Someone who paid for a bag of measly peanuts for $7, a $7 ticket to the challenge funnel, or if they actually committed to a decent price of anywhere between $40 to $100. A $7 buyer versus a $47 buyer, who's more likely to show up to the challenge funnel? And again, you're not just maximizing how many people show up, you're maximizing how many people who are actually going to show up and stay to the end of the challenge funnel. A $47 buyer is more committed, shows more intent than a $7 buyer. And that's why the front-end ticket needs to be $47. And that's before you even present the one-time offer upsells. And you also want to maximize your AOV as much as possible. So if they join, buys for $47 and you have let's say a $60 upsell, then you can have a $100 average order value. Okay. And again, this just helps you break even and possibly become profitable on the front end before running your challenge funnel, because again, you're basically spending a shit ton of money on ads on the front end, hundreds of thousands of dollars for a challenge funnel. You know what I mean? So you want to maximize AOV and you want to make sure that the front end ticket is nothing less than $40. Now we're going to go into how you can maximize the show up rates in between the days for your challenge funnel. So as soon as they've bought the ticket, you want a confirmation page. This isn't there to just say, thank you, you're in. It's there to maximize the chances of the prospect showing up on day 1. Again, you want to aim for the 70% benchmark, okay? Now, what you do on this page, you show the next steps, remind them to add the event to their calendar, to check their emails, and you can show a few videos which pre-handles their objections on why basically they think that, or basically making sure that they show up for day 1, so any objections they have, answering the frequently asked questions, and also giving proof and case studies that your model has actually delivered consistent results for other students in their position. So again, making sure that they show up. Another thing you can do is start running retargeting ads. Okay, so you can go into Ads Manager and you can create lots of custom audiences and then run ads towards them with a high frequency. Okay, so you want to specifically show them content, short form clips, long form clips, and we'll go into the different types of content you can basically send them. So examples of custom audiences you can make in Ads Manager is, once you have a list of buyers, you can then input them and then split them up into different custom audiences. So those who bought the ticket but didn't show up for day 1, those who attended day 1, those who didn't attend day 1, attended day 2, didn't attend day 2, attended day 3, didn't attend day 3, and then those who booked in a call, and then those who didn't show up to the call after they booked it in. And by creating these custom audiences, you can specifically send specific types of content to these people, right? And so the types of content that you can basically run and turn into retargeting creatives for these audiences is, number 1, what they will miss out on if they don't attend the live challenge funnel, what happens on the different days. You need to handle all of their objections. So they might be thinking, I have 0 experience, or I have a full-time job, or I've tried this before, it didn't work, or maybe I think this is a scam. You basically handle all of their objections. You show a ton of case studies and proof that you have students that are actively doing this right now and it's working, and also show some urgency and the relevance of joining live on this challenge funnel. So you want to make sure that the frequency is high. And even if they scroll past these clips, past the content, by them seeing your face in different formats again and again and again, they are reminded about the challenge funnel, and it's more likely to get them to show up, okay? So another thing you can do is have your setter reach out to them, okay? So your DM setters, your dialers, to reach out to every single lead. And what they do here is create that personal connection. So it reminds the prospect to save the event to their calendar, ask them why they joined, and to answer any of the questions they may have, and for the setter to send tailored resources, case studies, to this specific prospect. So maybe the prospect is a student who's also working a full-time job, they're skeptical about this working, so you might have a case study of that exact type of avatar that your setter can send to this student and basically get them to show up on day one. And also, the most important thing, the most important thing is to make sure that in between the days, after day one, after day two, they can touch base with the lead again to make sure that they show up and to answer any question that they have and to ultimately get them to book in a call. You can also send a shit ton of emails as well. Now, the emails you send, it's the same ones you would send in a webinar, it's the same ones you would basically use to basically answer any FAQs, to show a shit ton of case studies, to explain why it's important joining now, to share more of your story, and you can basically send a lot of those emails as well. The next section I want to go into is how to prevent your funnel from fatiguing, and this also applies to webinars as well, because messaging is the key thing. And many, coaches who are actually making multiple six figures per month with their challenge funnels are not actually doing this, which is a surprise, right? They should be doing this to get to a mil a month consistently. So you need to have different sales pages for different target avatars. So let's say you are a TikTok shop coach. Imagine you're teaching people how to make $7,000 to $10,000 a month with TikTok shop. That's what you do, okay? And there will be different target avatars that you have. Now, an example of the three that you may have are those working a 9-to-5 job, university, college students, and those who are self-employed. So when you are targeting these people, you don't want to have one landing page. So let's just say it's a headline, it's a VSL, it's reserve your spot. Right, let's just keep this very simple for now. If you have the same messaging, like, here's how people are making 7 to 10K a month with TikTok shop. You're not speaking to those self-employed. You're not speaking specifically to university students, or you're not speaking to those working 9-to-5 job. The whole point of marketing is making the prospect feel like you are speaking directly to them and you understand their specific positioning. So your words needs to be something that they understand and resonates with them. So for example, and I've just very briefly written 3 different types of headlines depending on the niche. So if it's working a 9-to-5 job, your headline could be how 9-to-5 employees are making this much with TikTok shop without quitting their job first. If you're targeting university students, how students are making this much with TikTok shop without quitting their degree. Those self-employed, how freelancers are making this much with TikTok shop without being stuck trading their time for money. And you get the point right here. My point is have language that speaks directly to them. You would have a different VSL, and the landing page would be different. So what you do from here is, right now, if you look at your challenge funnels, you might think that 25% of those working 9-to-5 job buys your offer, 50% of those who are those who buy your offer are university students, and then the remaining 25% are those who are self-employed. But that might just be the wrong percentages, because you're not actually targeting the different avatars correctly. And so what you want to do is, when you're running ads towards this challenge funnel, create ads targeting these different avatars. And then once you get your result from the challenge funnel, so you know the exact percentages of people who bought your offer, like in which avatar they fell into, you then want to basically distribute your ad spend more towards those leads. So, for example, distribute more of your ad budget towards them, because you know that they pay you more. And that's how you do it. So I've made a few notes here. So map out your ICP into different avatars, whichever bizop offer you're teaching. Run different ads to each avatar, have different sales pages for each avatar, and then distribute more of your spend towards that avatar because they're paying you more. And then you can also pair your challenge funnels with webinars happening twice a week, because doing webinars allows you to refine your metrics, allows you to speak to these audiences again and again and again, so that you improve your presentation and you can improve where you distribute your ads and how you do all of your messaging, basically. So that's why it's important having different sales pages, and this will allow you to get more students actually signing up, more showing up, more staying to the end of the day for each day of the challenge funnel and more booking in a call, which brings you more cash collected in the end. Now, very briefly, just in case you've not run a challenge funnel before, I wanted to show you a general structure for the 3-day challenge funnel on what you can do, and you can implement this straight away. So day 1 is content, day 2, sorry, it's very late here, it's like 12 in the morning. Day 2 is content and then the pitch, and then day 3 you re-pitch, you handle their objections, and you do a Q&A. So going into day 1, to keep this very simple, you want to open up with your origin story, okay? How did you even get into e-commerce yourself? Why are you even teaching e-commerce? What was the aha moment? What was your story and why this opportunity matters? I made a video on Shelby Sapp making $5 million a month with webinars. Her whole origin story was starting with door-to-door sales, right? And how she was scared about starting it. Then she'd done it, became very successful, led the entire team. She was head of sales, rejected an opportunity that was going to pay her multiple 6 figures because she wanted to pursue remote high ticket sales. That's like her origin story, basically. What is your origin story? The next, you need to make your bizop model make sense and explain in very basic terms. So when you're teaching about trading or TikTok shop or crypto, you don't want to over explain the very technical aspects of it. You want to make it like very clear. So with Shelby, when she does her weekly cold webinars, when she talks about remote high ticket sales, she makes it very simple. So there's an online fitness coach who's selling a program. He just booked in 67 calls. He can't take it all himself. He needs closers, and you will be the closers. She's speaking to the audience. He sells his program for $6,000. You will get a 10% commission, and you make $600. You have 5 calls a day. You close 2 out of 5 calls. You've just made $1,200. She keeps it very simple. So with your bizop model, keep it very simple as well in basic terms, okay? And again, create aha moments so that they can basically stick in their head. And then end with a reason for them to come back for day 2. Give them an action step, give them some homework, give them something that makes them excited and curious to come onto day 2. Now, day 2, you need to pick up from where you left off on day 1. So, for example, on day 1, if you're a TikTok shop coach and you talk to them about, what is TikTok shop, what is this opportunity, day 2, you don't repeat that. Day 2, you start talking about the next, like you go a layer deeper with content. You start talking about what winning stores actually do differently for TikTok shop, right? So you go a layer deeper with your content. So again, you're still basically using more content on the actual model. Then you show more evidence that your mechanism actually works. You get lots of student results. And then you show them that basically doing it alone will be slower, will be harder, will be very uncertain, and why you need a mentor. And you can also use your origin story from day 1 to make that point. So Shelby discussed how she had a mentor that completely changed her life, basically insinuating to the audience that you also need a mentor, and I am your mentor, and I'm giving you that same opportunity that I had many years ago. So again, you also want to show them that they need a mentor, they need a coach, they need some guidance, they cannot do it themselves. So you can also frame this in day 1 as well. But again, day 2, make sure you do this. And then here's where you go for the pre-pitch. You ask them for permission. So drop 1 in the chat if you want to see what we've been building, for example, right? Something like that. And then you present the offer and you give a very clear CTA. And that can be to book in a call or to pay if it's like a mid-ticket type of funnel. Or even some people, if it's $5,000, they tell them to pay in the chat, but you can book in a call if you've got good sales reps, okay? So that's day 2. At this point, you give them more content and you've pitched them. Then you move on to day 3. So then you start re-pitching again, because there will be people who attended day 2 who haven't booked in a call. You will handle the objections that are stopping people from moving forward. You can do a live Q&A to do that, to handle these objections, to remove the uncertainty and to remove confusion, to make them confident in basically booking in a call and that they can make this happen. And then emphasize why taking action right now is the best thing to do, because you're doing a challenge a few months later. So you might as well get them to believe that this is the best time to get started. And you can use your business model to explain why. And you can even use, like as we're speaking, this student is getting this result. You can be doing this right now. And there's a reason you've come in for a few days. You know what I mean? So get them to believe that they can make it happen. And then close the event with a final CTA. And then usually, once the challenge funnel happens, your sales team would have in between 7 to 10 days of taking sales calls. And that's by the end of those 10 days, you should have had your final cash collected and you can calculate all of your numbers. And that's exactly what we help, my marketing agency helps bizop creators get to $1 million per month in cash collected with very high profit margins by doing a mix of challenge funnels and webinars. Challenge funnel every quarter, webinars, twice a week. So if you are a bizop coach and you're looking to get to $1 million a month, wherever you are with, making multiple 5 figures a month, 6 figures a month, or you have bad unit economics and you want our help getting there with very healthy profit margins and basically doing everything done for you, then you can book in a 15-minute call with me down below and I'll see if you qualify, if there's a fit for a partnership. And generally, if you found this video very useful, just, I'd appreciate a subscribe down below. You can go to my Instagram, drop me a follow, and until then, I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.